Hey, what's good, everybody? Got my chips over here. Got this big ass Arizona. Got some shrimps over here. Coming on right now, but we're gonna get into a video. For those of you who follow my Instagram, I recently posted a photo just 5 minutes ago, and shout out to SNF on NBC on Instagram for posting these photos that I'm about to react to. I really should be shouting out these pages that put up these photos because I really just be screenshotting and doing a video instead of just making up shit on my own to do. But here's a photo right here. So our big question today is which AFC and NFC team that missed the playoffs is likely to survive past the wild card round? So the basic question is this: who didn't make the playoffs last year that's gonna not only make a playoffs but win a playoff game this year? First off, I love this question because I like people who are interested in seeing teams win a playoff game versus just making the playoffs or just seeding high or whatever. Because I feel like if you're gonna make the playoffs, no one's gonna remember it unless you win a game or unless you lose very very badly in that first game. But we're just gonna go straight to it in a minute. Hold on. Yeah, my door's locked. We're looking at AFC teams going into this season. Um, the one team whose chances I like, this is being realistic. Um, I'm just gonna say the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, I like what Oakland is doing. I hope Oakland makes the playoffs, but if we're talking about a team here that's gonna get that round one win if they make the playoffs, it's definitely Pittsburgh. Um, I don't even think I remember the last time the Steelers made the playoffs and lost the first round. Nearly every time the Steelers make the playoffs, they win at least once or twice. They've been to numerous AFC championships with Ben Roethlisberger, whatever. Now, whether or not they win a playoff game mainly depends on Ben Roethlisberger coming back or not. I believe that Ben Roethlisberger should be 100% by that time, but suppose that there's a case where he isn't, then the Steelers are malleable to a loss against basically any playoff team. Actually, we're gonna go. Actually, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go online. I'm gonna search. And I'm gonna show you guys. Whenever I do research online on my videos, I'm always just gonna show you guys what I'm looking at, just so you guys know what I know. You feel me? So actually, I should Google this first. I have better results. I'm gonna Google Pittsburgh but we're not going to refer to that entire history. But we'll go far back enough to know enough. You feel me? Let's see. Well, in the 2017 playoffs, they did when in the last time they lost a wild card game was the 2014 playoffs. They lost to the Baltimore Ravens 30-17, but their last playoff loss was when they got into the divisional round. They to the divisional round after having a wild card bye and lost to the Jaguars. Their last playoff win was against the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2016 postseason, and that was before getting knocked off by the New England Patriots. And of course, the last Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl was their win against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, why did I say the Steelers above all other teams? I forgot to give you guys. A look. I'm so sorry for that. So here it is. I'm on Pro Football Reference. On top, you see that last. On top, you see their last playoff game. You see their last loss, just a 3-point loss to the Jaguars. The Pittsburgh played such a great game, but Jacksonville that night was just. I mean, that day was just. A different beast. A different beast was channeled within the Jaguars. I'll definitely say that the Jaguars could have went to the Super Bowl. Not to say that they necessarily should have, because their offense was very one-dimensional, and a lot of people didn't realize it until later on in the postseason, primarily right up until they faced Tom Brady. Now, why am I not saying those? Not just because. Oh shit, my camera got blurry. Not just because of Drew Lock. Not just because Drew Lock is a new quarterback, but I feel like it's gonna take a little more time for the Broncos to get into playoff format. And if they do make the playoffs, I don't see the Broncos getting past the wild card. The the Raiders haven't had a playoff. The Raiders haven't had a playoff win in so many years. Um, their playoff game with Derek Carr, they lost against the Texans, but they did have. But let's be fair. Let's be fair. They had a great season that year. They won over 10 games. Or did they win just a? Oh no, they won just about 10 games. Um, Other than the Steelers, the Broncos, and the Raiders, I can't really make a case for any other team. The Colts, I would try to make a case for them because the Colts, they have good players. They have they just got the Forrest Buckner on defense. But the Colts, to me, don't have it in them to fight off the Titans and the Texans because early out in the season, even the t- the Titans, the, the Titans, the Colts, and the Jaguars were all lagging behind, and it was Houston, um, having a big lead, over the AFC South. And this is why the NFL is so essential to have control over your division because when winning division is an automatic playoff appearance. So the question here isn't who's going to win their division, but who's going to get past round one. Um, Winning your division, if not then having a great division record or beating all your teams in your division at least once gives you like low key. If you think about it, it gives you a good advantage. Um, the Jets, I don't think anyone really sees the Jets as a playoff team right now. They could be potentially in a couple of years, just not right now. The Browns and the Bengals are far from playoff format. The Dolphins, I'm not gonna lie, the Dolphins are my sleeper for this pick for who's gonna win a wild card game. And I'm not just gonna say who's gonna make the playoffs, but the Dolphins, they find the weirdest ways to win games. I mean, I talk about it a lot, but last year against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Eagles, who wind up being a playoff team at that, um, happened to happened to line up man to man to basically a punt formation, to basically a touchdown attempt and punt formation at the 2 yard line. I mean, and the Eagles really lined up man to man as if it was a real punt. I mean, a punt that close to a goalpost, anyone could have figured it was a fake. Even if it was a fake kick, anyone would have figured. Anyone would have figured at that point it probably was a fake. But yeah. And then not even just that. The Dolphins, they got Tua, they've got Xavier Rose, they have Xavier Howard. I mean, um, the Dolphins have added so many pieces, and they have so many draft picks. So if the Dolphins come away with the playoff win, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, the one team I would be surprised to actually make the playoffs and win a game, the Jets. The Jets. It would shock me just because they're the Jets, but if the Jaguars walk into the postseason beating anybody, especially that postseason where they beat not one but two teams and went to the AFC Championship, if that happens again for Jacksonville, I'm gonna be so surprised. But my pick for AFC is for, for non-playoff team to bounce back in the AFC. My pick is the Steelers, and my sleeper pick is the Dolphins. Broncos or Raiders. I think the Broncos and the Raiders will make the playoffs, but I don't know if they're gonna win. No, I'm not gonna say they're gonna, but I think they possibly could make the playoffs, but I don't know if they're gonna win. I'm sorry if my language isn't really conclusive to haven't been doing too many videos lately. Okay, so now let's go to which NFC team is likely, which non-playoff NFC team is going to win the wild card round. We have the Rams, the Bears, the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Buccaneers, the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Giants, the Lions, and the Redskins. Now, I'm not one of these people who are gonna front, but I'm not gonna say it's obviously the Buccaneers, but I feel like it more than likely might be the Buccaneers, but I'm not too sure about that. I see I see Tom Brady, I see Gronk, I see what the Bucks have done, and I know they can win. I know they can get. It says most likely to survive past the wild card round. It's not. The question isn't technically asking, and I should, and for the AFC too, the question isn't necessarily asking who's gonna win the wild card round. It's who's gonna get past. So basically, if one of these teams get a first round bye and get to the division round, that basically answers the question. Um, Knowing Tom Brady's fortune in the league, um, I would say Tampa Bay, but I like to defer from Tom Brady at times. But it's the Buccaneers. I'm just gonna spit it out. It's the Buccaneers. I'm not even gonna fight with this one because the Rams have nearly depleted their offense. It's like they're trying to come up with a whole new offense and just keep Jared Goff. Keep Jared Goff. Goff is confused as it is. And now you take away Gurley, you take away Brandon Cooks. Um, Marcus Peters is a Raven now. So we'll see how that shapes up for them. And your division is cramped. Your division is cramped. You have the Rams are surrounded by teams The Rams are surrounded by teams that have so Rams are literally surrounded by every team that has a solid receiver. I wouldn't say except them because they have maybe one or two, receivers that could do something. But let's see, the Cowboys. If the Cowboys make the playoffs and they survive past the wild card round, as Stephen A. Smith likes to say, you know, it could be a big setup for disappointment, as he likes to say. But if the Cowboys, I don't know if they're gonna get a first round bye, but the same could be said for the Buccaneers. Um, the Cowboys definitely could though survive past the wild card round, but that's only as far as they might get. Really. The Falcons, I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs at all. Not even with Todd Gurley. Um, I've seen the way the Falcons have done business with running backs before. They rather pass first. I've seen what they've done in Super Bowl 51. They pass first. I've seen what they've done with Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. I've seen what they've done with Devontae Freeman. Um, Devontae Freeman at this point, I feel like some people forgot about him, but Freeman was a beast. Freeman was a beast. Um, the Bears, I don't see them making the playoffs unless they start Nick Foles and keep him as a starter for the whole season. Trubisky, if Trubisky plays one game under center, the Bears' playoff chances are done. I, I'm not even gonna. I'm just keeping it real. You have a quarterback who literally beats who literally beats the NFL's pick for greatest quarterback of all time. It's not even true, but the NFL, we know the league thinks Brady is the greatest, and Foles beat Brady. Let's be honest. So why not give him the starting job? Um, as far as the Cardinals go, uh-uh. DeAndre Hopkins is gonna have a great season, but uh-uh. Not past the wild card round. And I don't see the Cardinals getting the first round bye. Not with Kyler Murray. No, it's not happening. The Panthers, oh no, no. The Lions and the Redskins is dead for them. But the Giants are the sleeper. The Giants are the sleeper. The Giants picked up Blake Martinez and Dion Lewis. And speaking of the Giants, don't forget tomorrow I'm gonna be doing a video on Tay Crowder, Mr. Irrelevant. He was selected 255th overall, inside linebacker from Georgia. I usually don't remember this much about a prospect picked that late, but I'm gonna do some research tonight on Tay Crowder, and we're gonna talk about why Tay Crowder became Mr. Irrelevant and whether or not he should remain irrelevant after the 2020 season. But my pick for this, who's most likely to survive past the 2020 wildcard round? Mm. I'm gonna say the Buck. I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm actually my final pick, my final decision is Pittsburgh for the AFC, and no lie, Dallas for the NFC. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Even if the Cowboys don't win their division with that receiving core, if they play a wild card game, more than likely they'll win it. But if they don't sign Dak Prescott and Dak Prescott winds up going elsewhere, which at this point I've heard is impossible because he's already he's already like a legit Cowboy. They just won't pay him his money. But um, Andy Dalton starts one season this year. Jerry Jones, you might want to count your days, and you're not going to be able to blame Mike McCarthy for this one because he's not Jason Garrett. This is a good coach, and when you give a good coach bad players, it is your fault, but it makes the coach look like the bad guy as well. But I think the Cowboys are the pick for the non-playoff team to bounce back, and the Giants are going to be my sleeper. I think the Buccaneers very well could. I think the Buccaneers very well could do it. It's just that picking the Buccaneers would be too much of an obvious pick because of the roster they have. Because of the roster they have, and we've seen Tom Brady cough up a wild card game last year. I don't want to hear about the lack of weapons. I don't want to hear about this happened and that happened. No, at the end of the day, in the wild card round, Tom Brady was pressured too much to win the game. The wild card round. Who's to say the same won't happen this year, especially when the Tampa Bay offensive line is near shit. Offensive line is near shit. I mean, unless the referee just doesn't call any penalties on that awful offensive line, and just lets the O line think they're doing excellent blocking, that they're just getting 50 yards off penalties that shouldn't be called, then maybe I could see it. I could see it happening. Reason why I could see it happening that way is because for Tom Brady, it's happened that way tons and tons and tons of times. You're not going to tell me it hasn't, because it has. I've watched it and I've seen it. But I'm not picking the the Buccaneers are likely, but not my pick for most likely. My pick for most likely to bounce back in the NFC would be the Cowboys, as much as I don't like talking about them. But I'm gonna be doing some more videos tonight. This is ICD Hoods signing off. Don't forget to tune into my video tomorrow on Tate Crowder, who was picked 255th overall. Good to see you guys in the video.